Hi, I'm Sarafina Troy Bortolon-Vettor. So the album that has influenced me the most as an artist and as a person is Black Sabbath Volume 4. This album specifically has influenced myself and my art due to the fact of the sheer darkness of this record. Definitely the drum sounds in Volume 4 has played a major influence in terms of me becoming a drummer. This was the first record that I listened to fully on vinyl, where I kind of went, you know what? I want to play the drums. I want to write like Ozzy Osbourne. I want to sing like Ozzy on Changes. I'd say the first side of the record is my absolute favorite, especially because Changes is on the first one. And that was probably, again, the most prominent song on the record that has influenced me the most, which is kind of funny because the record as a whole is like pretty heavy and dark, and I would regard it as Black Sabbath's best album. But Changes is such a pure song and melodic song, and is so different from the rest of the music on this record. So I can listen to the first side over and over still. Second side, not as much. However, Supernaut on the second one. See, this is where I'm like screwing up here. I'm fucking up on my favorite record. Yeah, see, Supernaut is still on side one. So, but then you've got Snowblind on side two. That's great. But like side one, Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, Changes. Come on now. I discovered this album in my parents' basement when, again, vaguely, I was between the ages of 8 and 10. And I was very fortunate that my father had a vinyl player and had vinyl. And fortunate too that he had Black Sabbath Volume 4. So, of course, being curious at an early age, I was like, oh, I wanna try spinning this vinyl thing. So I put on Volume 4 because of the visual, because of the album art. It was so poppy, so bold. And you had this sort of like, dark, you got the black background with this, this golden figure. Like, who is this? It's a golden figure. Like, wow, like, holy, like, who the fuck is this, right? And then you open it up and you got your big spread, like, your Technicolor, pretty much, like 1972 kind of visual thing going on. Look at the drummer, like, having fun. Cross, like, sacrilegious vibes here. Like, wow, being raised Roman Catholic. I was like, wow, this is everything that I shouldn't be liking. Like, this is great, And you've got Tony Iommi over here with the SG. And of course, you can kind of figure out that that's Ozzy Osbourne. So during the creation of this record, these guys were recording in Bel Air. And there was a Doberman at the house for some reason. Everything's kind of vague because they were all drugged up, That's fine, whatever. And so there's a Doberman running around or whatever. And the Doberman, for some reason, got into like a laxative that you would give a child. So you can imagine kind of what happened there. This is while they're recording, of course. So there's the first story, regarding this record. Second story, when this record was being made, these guys did so much cocaine. And I think there's like a myth surrounding, like, I don't know, it came in like speaker boxes or something, or like, I have no idea. I kind of know, it's kind of vague, but the big fact of this all is that they did a fuck ton of cocaine while recording this record in Bel Air. Unfortunately, and probably fortunately, I guess, and I guess it fueled them to make this record. Not that I condone doing anything that you feel uncomfortable with, but, they lived their lives and they made this record hopped up on cocaine with a dog shitting all over the fucking place. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Black Sabbath Volume 4. Well, I listened to this album the same way that my sister does, and that's by rolling a very lovely joint. The YouTube, that's cool too, but I don't have time for that. If I'm going to listen to Black Sabbath Volume 4, it's going to be on the crusty old vinyl that was probably thrown around. Gotta be careful. So this is how I will listen to Black Sabbath Volume 4. So, my most favorite album of all time it's Siamese Dream by the Smashing Pumpkins. This is my favorite album because of the songwriting. All-encompassing, it's the songwriting, but it's also the mixture of all of the different elements musically. So, you've got the powerhouse on the drums, Jimmy Chamberlin, and the drumming is just absolutely out of this world on this record. And actually, there's a story about Jimmy Chamberlin playing drums until his hands bled because Billy just asked him to keep going during the recording. And the singing, of course, some people don't like Billy Corgan and they don't like his voice. Well, fuck you, okay? I really like Billy Corgan. I like his voice. I like the texture. And, it's not necessarily so much about hitting notes, okay? It's not so much, having a perfect melody, but it's also the passion involved, the performance involved, the throat kind of vibe. I find it very natural. The compositions as a whole are fantastic, and you've got this prog metal vibe, but you also have elements of shoegaze and pop and dream pop. And what's fantastic about this record is that it was engineered by one of my favorite recording engineers, and that's Butch Vig. Butch Vig is very well known for Nevermind by Nirvana, whom I absolutely adore, and that's also one of my absolute favorite records. It was very tough because Siamese Dream is my all-time favorite, but Nevermind by Nirvana would probably be the second favorite. And then of course Alan Moulder. Moulder? I'm not sure how to specifically pronounce his name. Sorry, Alan. But wow. He did he did this record. He mixed this record. It took him 36 days to mix. And he also did mixed an album that I love, which is My Bloody Valentine's Loveless. Probably the best shoegaze album and the only true shoegaze album ever created. So that's why this album, Siamese Dream, again is my favorite because it combines everyone that I loved in the realm of, the early 90s. They produced what I feel is my favorite album and the best album that came out of 93, I think, right? And unfortunately, this is the reissue 2011, but it's on 180 gram vinyl. I've got a friend, double winking here, that has the original album, and the album cover to that is spectacular, but this is the reissue. Fun, it's pretty colorful. You got your whole opening here, more fun, family photos. You got some lyrics here too. So yeah, it's just an all-around awesome record. I can spin this all the time and never get sick of it. What can I say? Thank you, Billy Corgan. Thank you, Smashing Pumpkins, for this absolutely fantastic record that I enjoy quite frequently.